How are work from anywhere policies affecting global mobility trends? I'm Annie Gibbins. Women's Biz Leaders starts now. Women's Biz Leaders, presented by Women's Biz Global, where each episode we dive into the journeys and successes of remarkable women in business. In this episode, I sit down with a technology-driven leader making her mark in the mobility space. So joining me now is Ursula Lepporoli. Welcome, Ursula.
Thanks, Annie, for having me.
Great to
have you.
And
you pronounced Lepporoli correctly. Well done.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for coming on the show. I would love to talk about your journey now as a partner with KPMG, and you have decided to make it your specialty, the area of global mobility. Why did you specialize in this space?
I think a lot of us kind of fall into this space, but if we turn back the hands of time, in 2005, I came to Australia. I was an international student. I wanted to work. I chose KPMG because it's an international firm, and I thought wherever I go after this, I'll be able to go with this career. I graduated with a Master's of Commerce in Banking and walked straight into the GFC. So whilst I was working as a casual at KPMG, it was all about expats and taxes. And I found a place immediately where my accent was an asset. People felt comfortable because they were talking to me, and I obviously had lived experience. I'd done that journey before, and so it just felt like I belonged there. And so I decided to stay because tax is not going anywhere. And I always knew that I wanted to lead people. When I was an undergraduate, my major was management. And my mom was like, what are you going to manage? And I was like, don't worry about that. I'll sort it out later. And it just turns out, and any recommendations for any people, I would say you must know something technical. You have to have an expertise. And so my expertise is expat tax. And I love it. Every single day I get to speak to really cool people in it, and I enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. I love it when you find yourself in your happy place. That is obviously an ideal, particularly in your profession. You're all now into client-centered solutions. And I love the way you've used that US connection to say, hey, I'm automatically global because I'm positioned in Australia and I've got American and I'm American. And so it does make it easier for you. Now, to create client-centered solutions in a global space though, how do you approach that?
Oh, look. My husband the other day told me I was critical, and it was probably in reference to his cleaning methods. But what I think I'm really good at is looking at a process. I love process. James Clear says you don't, rise to your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so systems are so important to me. One of my most favorite roles at KPMG, I've been there 19 years, so I've done a few things. I've done 3 cities and a secondment to India. But I think with technology, you will allow yourself to really just start fresh. Ask, what could this process look like if we went back to the drawing board and got to a blue sky place? And so we had a process where we automated the processing of more than 15,000 letters we received from the ATO every year. And I got to be a leader in that project. And it was just amazing. So you think tax, you don't necessarily think technology side by side. But no one is immune. Like, we're all going through it. And then I think one of the other things that I like to embrace is the Japanese concept of Kaizen. So it's, if we could just get 1% better every day and just sustainably keep getting better, it doesn't have to be mammoth, although I do like a big jump. It's okay to just gradually get better. And that's something that I really prize myself on as well. It's that, the imagining what could it possibly be, and then talking to your clients and then creating it.
I love that. And I tell you what, I always go on technology, systems and processes, and culture as 3 key elements for driving any organisation forward and being able to meet those customer needs. And it sounds like we are definitely on the same page there. And I agree, and I'm sure some of our viewers would be thinking too, tax and technology? Yes, absolutely. Everything is tech, isn't it?
Well, it's people, process, tech. And when we use technology to automate things, it allows me to have a conversation with you like this. We can let the technology do the number crunching, and I can actually walk you through whatever we're talking about so you understand it.
Yes. Absolutely. So now you're in a work from anywhere environment. You know, we've got these global mobility trends. You know, so you're in an organisation that you chose it for that reason. You went and did the undergraduate, the qualified. You joined an organisation that went, I can work anywhere in the world. But what are the challenges for those workers, and how do they make sure that they always stay client-centred when our clients can be varying around the world?
Yeah, look, I think technology is part of that answer, but maybe I'll tell you about 3 trends that we're experiencing right now. We asked at KPMG CEOs and board members around Australia what's keeping them up at night. And the first 2 things were cyber risks and talent. So having the right talent that you need in Australia right now is hard. Yes, there are some pockets where it's fine, but there are other places, engineering, some of the very specialized fields where we just don't have all of the talent here. So businesses are needing to bring people in. So there's 3 areas that are keeping us busy right now. And the first is kind of that classic expat assignments and the business travelers that come to mind when I say expat tax. And that's never gonna go away, because sometimes, you know, if you've got a windmill, a wind farm, you need a specialist engineer to service something. We don't have it here. You might have someone just traveling the world who just maintenances those big machineries. And you're not going to hire someone full-time to do that in Australia. So it just makes sense that you're going to potentially have some people touring around to help out with your infrastructure. So it's lots of the classic expat assignments. The Australian government, I'm not sure if you are aware, has been revising our approach to immigration to make it better. So we're all still watching to see how that really lands. But it's good to see that there's motivation to make it easier for business to bring the workers that they do need into Australia.
I think that's a really interesting point, because I remember when we were young, it was all about skilling Australia, and you started this conversation by saying we all need a technical skill, right? We need something that we own, we're needed for, obviously, to then be of value in the market. And so we've got that sort of situation that is our government looking to bring in more skilled people, or is it that you as a big organisation say that person just has to be somewhere globally who is available when we need it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's a bit of both. I mean, you can't turn on the news without hearing about we need more growth. Part of the growth is going to be, you know, internal growth within Australia and skilling up our young people. I have a 9-year-old son. I want him to have a job one day.
Yes.
So he needs a job one day. But like I said, going back to that really specialist talent, sometimes we need it right now, and we don't have the time to skill up people how to do it. So we need to bring talent in so that we can actually do the growth right now. I think you kind of led me to the second trend, which is that the new entrance to global mobility. So you might start your own business and decide, gosh, I really wish I had this person or this specific talent, and it's not here and you can't find it. So we help a lot of companies as they start up their programs, because you can't just ad hoc say, well, Annie, you get this beautiful package, and you over here, you get that, because people talk.
Yes.
And so a lot of our help is helping companies figure out what their policies should be. The last bit is flexibility. And that's what you were talking about at the top of the show with the workplace, the work from anywhere. I don't know if you've tried a workation before. I'm not sure it's as glorious as the name implies, but there are risks from taking your laptop and just getting on a plane and going somewhere. And the more senior you get, the more complex those risks are within your organization. You could potentially create a situation where your company is getting taxed in the country where you're opening up your laptop and working, which you probably want to avoid. So we help companies work on their policies, not in a silo within tax, but looking at risk, safety, the whole gambit, and making sure that they've come up with a policy that makes sense for their workforce.
And this is an area that they're probably only going to come to you when they suddenly have a problem, right? Because we all do that in business. We go, I'm all right, you know, I don't have a problem. And then suddenly there's a cyber risk. We've got a new project. We want to accept a contract, and we then suddenly don't have those skills. Sometimes we're evolving at such a rate because we're in tech, we don't actually have the skills who has those skills in an emerging market? Your son, have they even created the jobs that he will inherit and be skilled at? Who's to say? Are these the types of challenges that your company is trying to manage every day with being equipped as a company, but then also to serve others and to make them aware of emerging trends?
We definitely at KPMG have the same struggles that everyone else has, but I've got one client, it's a tech company, they decided to expand into Australia. They knew no one here. They had no footprint. They had no trusted network. So they really did need to bring some people over from the US over here to establish the business. So like you say, you just need people sometimes, and finding that right talent, we can help with the immigration and with the tax to make it work. Because you can't just get on a plane, like I said. You need a visa as well.
You often need a visa, exactly. Unlike us Aussies who just pop back and forth to the UK, it's yes, definitely, most places you do need a visa.
100%.
And so what advice do you have for those, emerging leaders coming through there where you were maybe 19 years ago and they're going, you know what, I want to be a leader, I want to manage change, I'm interested in tax when everyone else isn't, but death and taxes are definitely not going anywhere. You might as well be an expert in tax. So what do you say for them? Is this a good space to get into? Are there opportunities for them? Give us some advice.
Yeah, like you said, it's not going away. When I graduated from university and thought, okay, what am I going to do now? I had a choice. I had an offer from KPMG to work in tax, and I had an offer to be a financial advisor and be an apprentice and go that path. And that was kind of like what I thought I would do, but I'm so glad that I chose KPMG. So I guess my advice to anyone watching this is to find your superpower. The sooner you find that, the better. You want to be able to figure out something that's going to set your soul on fire, that you want to get up and go to work and do every single day. So everyone's got something that sets them apart from the crowd. So figuring that out, then lean into it. Really lean
into it.
And then you just have a good time. And that makes work not even feel like work. So I think we talked about kind of what if you want to create change and you're finding it hard. I think you're definitely going to find some dinosaurs out there. And you've got to figure out your support network so that you can be surrounded by people who not just cheer you on, but also tell you the truth. I think that's so important to put you back in your lane when you need it, or tell you, that feedback was actually spot on. Maybe you need to take that on. But don't lose enthusiasm. Keep trying different things. I'm usually the one that comes to meetings with crazy, zany ideas. Some of them are great, some of them aren't, but I think that just creates an opportunity for us to build upon that.
Oh, 100%. Never stop the crazy ideas, because you need those to have those outliers, which actually get looked at, nurtured, and sometimes become the dream. So thank you so much for being on the show today. I have thoroughly loved the conversation. I wouldn't normally love a conversation about tax, but it has been wonderful. Thank you very much to our viewers. It's been great to have you join us again today. I look forward to seeing you again very soon.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.